I analyzed dozens of psychological studies only to find out that you don't need to reduce stress. What you need is how to exploit your stress, and anyone can do that. It's that simple. Stress is like nuclear energy. Nuclear energy can destroy an entire city, but the same energy, if harnessed, can be used to power the city. Stress is exactly like that. Stress might be killing your productivity or messing up with your health, but in this video, I'm going to share an insanely easy hack that you can use to harness stress. It's mind blowing how you can use stress to fuel your life, boost yourself towards your goals, and even improve your health. This can mean all the difference between getting a heart attack due to stress or getting stronger due to stress. Stress might be exploiting you, but by the end of this video, tables will turn and you will exploit stress. But first, we need to understand how stress got such a horrible reputation. It all started with rats. And this guy, Hans Selye, an endocrinologist. In the 1930s, Hans Selye conducted experiments on rats. He would subject them to extreme temperatures, make them go hungry for long periods, or make them exercise a lot. Then, what he would do is kill the rats and look at their organs. He would give painful injections to rats on regular basis, and no matter what the solution was in those injections, the rats got sick. All those rats showed a particular set of signs of sickness, and thus the idea that stress messes up with your health was born. Hans Selye basically took a leap from rats to humans, and it boggles my mind to think that what Selye did to rats was not usual stress. It was essentially Squid Games of rats without the prize money. But this is where things got murkier. Selye's research was funded by the tobacco industry. According to Selye, smoking reduced stress, and it was stress that caused health problems, not smoking. Selye testified on June 12, 1969, arguing the benefits of smoking and arguing against anti-smoking messages. A few days later, he appeared on a Canadian radio program citing the benefits of smoking for people under stress, such as expectant fathers and condemned criminals. With funding from the tobacco industry, Selye made a villain out of stress, even the daily hassles otherwise known as life. A dramatic change took its roots in 1998 when researchers asked 30,000 adults in the US to fill out a survey asking, how much stress did you experience in the past year? Do you think that stress is harmful? Fast forward 8 years. They found something shocking. People who had high stress were 43% more likely to die than people with low stress. But here's the twist. This was true only for those who believed that stress was harmful. On the other hand, people with high stress but who did not believe that stress is harmful actually lived longer, even longer than those with low stress. So the real problem was not stress. It was the combination of high stress and the belief that stress is harmful. So could it be that all this messaging about stress being bad is causing more harm than good? This study intrigued me so much that I recently conducted a fascinating experiment in a conference where I was invited to speak. I asked the audience if public speaking made them feel extremely stressed, and 14 people raised their hands. I divided them into two groups and gave one group red envelopes and the other group green envelopes. Inside these envelopes were messages specifically for them. Each participant had to give an impromptu speech on a random topic that they picked from chits. These were people who already found public speaking stressful. On top of that, they had to speak without preparation and were rated by the audience on their content and delivery, adding even more pressure. After everyone had spoken, there was a noticeable difference in how the two groups felt. The people with green envelopes claimed that they felt more satisfied with their performance, felt more accomplished, and resilient. On the other hand, those with red envelopes felt more drained and demotivated. So, what was the difference between the messages in the envelopes? The red envelope said, stress is bad and should be avoided. Studies suggest that stress causes high blood pressure, heart attacks, and many other diseases. Many health experts claim that stress is responsible for more than 50% of ailments, including diabetes. Stress also reduces your productivity by killing your efficiency and effectiveness. Heart pounding, shortness of breath, and jitters can signal your mind that you are not ready for the task. Therefore, when you come on the stage, avoid stress. When you feel stressed, try deep breathing, try to be calm, stay relaxed. The green envelopes, on the other hand, had the exact opposite message. Stress is good and should be embraced. Studies suggest that stress makes you ready to rise to the challenge. Your heart beating faster is nature's way of pumping more blood so that you are warmed up for the activity. Your shortness of breath is nature's way of pumping more oxygen to your body so that you are excited to rise to the challenge. During stress, your muscles tighten up so that they become more powerful, and that's why you get jitters on stage. Therefore, when you feel stressed on the stage, remember that it is perfectly normal to have a pounding heart, shortness of breath, and jitters. All this will help you perform better. It's amazing how just changing the way stress was framed turned the same nerve wracking experience into a confidence booster for one group and a total energy drain for the other group. But you might wonder that this kind of stress does not happen every day. What about everyday stressors like job and workload? Enter UBS Group, one of the largest investment banks. Investment banking is already one of the most high pressure industries you can imagine. It's fast paced, intense environment where long hours, tough decisions, and massive stakes are the norm. And then came the 2008 financial crisis, the perfect storm. Markets were collapsing, job security was uncertain, and stress levels skyrocketed to unprecedented heights. It couldn't get stressier than this. Psychologist Alia Crum, along with her team, entered the UBS office on Wall Street to conduct an experiment. They divided the employees into three groups. The first group was introduced to the concept of stress is enhancing, and they were shown videos explaining that stress doesn't have to be harmful always. Instead, it can lead to personal growth, it can boost performance, and it can even be good for health. The second group got the opposite message. Their videos reinforced the fact that stress is bad, stress is debilitating, it lowers your productivity, and it is something to avoid at all costs. And then there was the third group, the control group, that were not shown any videos and simply carried on the work as usual. What happened a month later? The stress is debilitating group did not fare well. Their productivity plummeted. Their well-being suffered because they were focused too much on the dangers of stress rather than its potential benefits. And as you might expect, the control group did not show any significant change at all. Meanwhile, the employees that were exposed to the stress is enhancing mindset, they performed better under pressure. They reported feeling more productive, more energized, and importantly, they began to see stress not as a threat but as a challenge they could tackle. This is exactly what resilience is. This experiment demonstrated something profound. Our mindset about stress shapes our response to it. That is, when we believe that stress can help us grow and perform, it actually does. And when we think that stress is harmful, it becomes just that. The effect you expect is the effect you get. This is not to say that bad things that happen are not bad. Financial crisis, loss of a loved one, or failing in an important exam are all bad. But the great things that come out of such situations do not come out of these situations. They come out of you, your mindset. When you believe that stress is bad, your heart beats faster and your blood vessels constrict, which causes high blood pressure. Your body produces more cortisol, which is the famously dreaded stress hormone. But when you believe that stress is enhancing, your heart beats faster and stronger. However, your blood vessels dilate, which is the same effect we see during exercise. Your body produces more of a steroid hormone known as DHEA, which counters the negative effect of cortisol, and DHEA is anti-inflammatory. The best part of all this is that you have a choice of how you respond to the stress, as a threat or as a challenge. This act of choosing is powerful. If someone throws you out of the moving plane, you will probably have a heart attack even before you hit the ground. But when the same act is done as a choice, as in skydiving, you feel challenged and excited, thus changing the way your body responds to stress. This is the power of choice. If you have any doubts as to how our mindset can change our biology, listen to the study from 2011, often called the Milkshake Study. Here's what happened. The participants were given a milkshake to drink. Half the participants were told that it was an indulgent high calorie milkshake, rich, creamy, and packed with 620 calories. The other half was told that it was a diet friendly light milkshake known as Sensi Shake with just 140 calories. Here's the catch, it was the exact same milkshake having 380 calories. So, this is where it gets fascinating. People who were told that it was an indulgent high calorie milkshake, their bodies reacted as if they had a highly satisfying filling meal. The hunger hormones in their bodies called ghrelin dropped significantly, signaling their bodies that they had a satisfying meal. On the other hand, those who thought that they were having the diet friendly Sensi shake, their bodies reacted differently. The hunger hormones in their bodies barely changed, signaling that it wasn't enough to satisfy them even though they were having the exact same milkshake. It blows my mind to think that they were having the same milkshake but their bodies reacted differently depending upon what they thought or knew about the milkshake. So, yes, the effect of mindset is much deeper than we think. The takeaway is that your mindset can literally change how your body responds to stress. So, next time when you are stressed, know that you have a choice to take that stress as a threat or as a challenge. And your choice will determine whether the stress will harm you or benefit you. I hope you make the right choice. If you like this video, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any updates on this channel. Thanks for watching.